The top stories. The Speaker of Parliament gives a statement to police in the nation investigation. JetBlue's new plane makes its debut flight to Barbados. And President Putin offers a pardon for an opponent. Welcome to Nation News for Thursday, December the 19th. I'm Bertram Niles.
You want your loved ones around to celebrate, especially those living far. And with Digicel Top-Up, Dad can help you bring life to the party and be part of the celebration. Ask him to send you Digicel Minutes. Receive free instant additional credit. Stay connected here and there. Ask your family abroad to send Digicel Minutes today.
Speaker of the House of Assembly Michael Carrington has been defending his decision to refer a Nation newspaper report to the Director of Public Prosecutions, who has since asked the police to investigate the article for possible breaches of parliamentary rules. Mr. Carrington was speaking to reporters after being interviewed by police in connection with the report, which followed an opposition walkout of Parliament to protest his rulings in July.
The law set certain bounds, and the press, just like the average citizen, just like the police and attorneys at law and so on, must operate within the bounds of the law.
3 opposition MPs, including opposition leader Mia Mottley, were also interviewed by police earlier this month. JetBlue's newest plane touched down in Barbados today after its maiden voyage from New York. The Airbus A321, which was only released last month, was full to capacity with 190 passengers when it reached Barbados around 1:45 this afternoon. General Manager Terry Lane said the low-cost carrier was increasing flights to Barbados in light of American Airlines' discontinuation of their Barbados-New York service.
The reason why we would have sent the aircraft for a couple of reasons. Number one, we do know that there is going to be some loss of capacity from one of our competitors. So to ensure that our pricing remains constant, which is at a reasonable level, we decided to add additional capacity so that it would not drive up the fares in the market. In addition, we know that at certain times of the year there's going to be additional demand in February around the President's Day holiday out of the US, as well as Easter and in summer. So what we're doing is that we're adding additional capacity along with this 321 to pick up any slack that would have been a loss.
Cardiff Airport in Wales has announced a new charter service to Barbados. The Sandals Hotel chain will inaugurate the service for its new Christchurch resort next March. In addition, the airport said that P&O Cruises' new charter flights to Barbados from Cardiff in January and February sold out in just a matter of weeks after being launched earlier this year. University Principal Sir Hilary Beckles has pledged that KFIL will reduce its dependency on government and lower the cost of its operations as it prepares for the introduction of tuition fees for local students next year. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of KFIL's 50th anniversary celebrations. Sir Hilary also spoke about the impact of the university in Barbados.
KFIL will continue to drive this agenda to be a major foreign exchange earner in this country. Already we believe that we made a substantial contribution to foreign exchange earnings. We will continue to do even more of that. We will drive our international agenda, already established and moving, and we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that the KFIL campus attract not only the finest students from around the world, but that we are embedded in the economics international student movement.
Also speaking at the UWI function was Prime Minister Frendel Stewart.
As the recent NICE survey in Barbados has shown, upwards of 30% of employees is increasingly disengaged at work, whether in the public or private sector. Both learning and faith, in some instances, seem divorced from the demanding challenges of daily living.
The Ministry of Health held a town hall meeting last night to discuss the controversial HP vaccine and address the concerns of parents.
Barbados is stepping up its plans to introduce the human papillomavirus vaccine to 12 and 13-year-old schoolgirls. There has been some controversy surrounding the planned introduction of the vaccine, with public objection from some adults.
I am concerned that they are suggesting that the vaccine is safe. They're also not telling the Barbadians about the very serious side effects.
I do not want to say that I am opposed to the introduction of the vaccine, but obviously it is something new and we would all have some doubts, their questions. The panelists today gave the impression that it is safe, but I mean, when one does research, one would find that concerns were raised throughout the world. Let's say Japan, for example, I've learned that they have pulled the vaccination from their program because there were adverse effects.
But long-standing family planning expert and social worker George Griffith sees it differently.
I think it is important for Barbados and the young people at this time, simply because the world is not what it used to be. We're living in the 21st century, and we have to make use of the 21st century advances in science and technology that we have. The HPV vaccine is one such vaccine which will protect our young people from cervical cancer 15, 20 years down the road. And I think that we as parents and authority figures in this community must give the leadership that is required at this time. Children cannot make the decisions for themselves, but we have a responsibility to make those decisions.
Griffith joined others in supporting the National Council of PTAs and the Ministry of Health in promoting the introduction of the vaccine early next year. This is Natasha Beckles for Nation News.
At Courts, every day we bring affordability, convenience, innovation, and style to over 1 million customers in 11 countries. From homes to communities, we are proud to make a difference in the lives of many across the region. Courts, bringing value home.
The decision by the government of Barbados to slash its public sector has raised alarm bells in Trinidad and Tobago, according to reports from Port of Spain. The Guardian newspaper says the announcement has caused almost as much shock and consternation there as in Barbados because of the billions of dollars invested here by companies from the two-island nation. Their bottom lines will likely take a hit as a result of reduced consumer spending in Barbados. After a wages freeze for 3 years under an IMF program in St. Kitts and Nevis, public sector workers in Nevis will receive a pay increase from January. The 10% raise will be spread over 3 years. The announcement was made by the Division Premier Vance Amory in his budget yesterday, even though he said the island still faced financial challenges. Internationally, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he will pardon one of his best-known opponents, jailed oil tycoon Mikhail Khodorkovsky. Mr. Putin said he had received a petition to be pardoned on humanitarian grounds because the tycoon's mother is ill. Mr. Khodorkovsky was sentenced to jail for embezzlement more than 10 years ago, and observers believe Mr. Putin is trying to appease human rights bodies ahead of the Winter Olympics in February. In sport, those leftovers will come in handy once again for the annual Boxing Day horse racing at the Goddess in Savannah. The racing is sponsored by Diamonds International and Crown of Light. Regional Marketing Manager of Diamonds International, Simone Ward, says the company is happy to continue supporting horse racing, citing its sports tourism value.
I don't think that, that we would change or in any way alter our sponsorship. We feel it's a very important initiative and very important organization to continue to support horse racing. It's very important to Barbados from a tourism aspect, sports tourism aspect. We know a lot of tourists come and enjoy the races, and we want to continue to support that, as well as we know a lot of locals are employed by this industry, and we like to continue to support the local industry as well in that employment sector.
And that's Nation News for Thursday. Do pick up your copy of the Weekend Nation on Friday for the very latest developments in Barbados' economic crisis. I'm Bertram Niles.